Shalom, shalom. So I just want to give all praise and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushua, Bahashem, Kadosh. And it's Friday. Like Sir Charles Jones, man. All prophecies popping off the charts. I'm good to bring it out. I can get in, get out. You know, them fucking crackers keep taking my spots down there, man. I'm going to get here earlier. You know, every time you get a spot set up, damn demons, the damn devils get in my way. Man. They're like ultimate spirit blockers, man. But you know, ain't nothing gonna stop me from coming out here and preaching this truth. Now, I'm gonna have to walk a little bit. I'm gonna have to get in a different spot or something, but I'm still gonna bring this truth out. So let's get into prophecy. Because all the talk past couple of days, the World War III, yeah, World War III getting ready to pop off. You know, NATO saying there's a war, you know, to the extent not seen since your grandparents or your great grandparents, meaning World War III. You know, but it's on the way. So the draft is about to start. Now they're getting ready. They already started the draft in Europe for men and women, and so you Americans going to get drafted soon because guess what? You're part of NATO too. Yeah, Trump trying to get out of NATO, but it's not going to work. You know, he's about to drag the U.S. into World War III. So all you young, able-bodied men are about to get shipped off to Ukraine or to the Middle East, man, and women, might I add. You know, so all you what they call it, independent women. I don't need a man. That's fine. You know, your ass about to get shipped off, about to get some boots and a rifle. You know, you got war with Venezuela on the menu. So war is coming to the Western Hemisphere, man. The elite about to shake you people out of your comfort zone. You know, and Trump just said Colombia's next. So for the most part, America's been untouched. You know, Americans really ain't had to go through much. Like you're fat and docile, man. But the wicked elite, the bankers about to change all that. They about to stir some shit up. Hey, you think they changed that Department of Defense to Department of War just because when they say they going to war, they going to war, man. And they taking your asses with them. And so if you got family in the military, you need to speak to them every chance you get because you know it's a good chance they about to get sent to that Ukraine war, man. And Russia is itching to pull the trigger on those nukes. Putin is itching, man. He can't contain himself. And I was listening to the pretty much one of Putin advisors today on this one talk show. And he was like, hey, Europe is pretty much out of their minds and they can't defeat Russia. But they're going to go ahead and go. They're going to go with it anyway, man. They're going to go with it. It's already been planned or actuary pretty much that they can't defeat Russia. But they said, the hell with it. We're going to do it anyway. So all that peace is out the window. No more peace talks. You know, the ones who control this world is not interested in peace. You know, there's no money in peace. You know, you can't sell weapons when peace is going on. You can't sell tanks and helicopters as long as peace is going on. You know, you got Jacob Trouble stirring up on you so-called Negro, Latinos, and Native Americans, man. You know, ICE out here doing their thing, man. And it's only gonna spread to everybody else, man. Everybody's gonna get rounded up. Everybody's gonna get their asses processed. You know? So Esau Edom, those horns coming out, man. He tired of being the nice guy. You know, he's tired of being the nice guy. Gloves are off. And those horns are sticking out. And right now, the boogeyman of the week is Maduro. You know, well, let's put it like this: Maduro and Somalians, Venezuelans and Somalians is the boogeyman of the week. Week before last, it was the Muhammad clan. So all this year has been the so-called Latinos. And believe, guess who's coming up next? You so-called Negroes. You coming up next. They can't leave you out. You know? Now they already got you a little bit with the, with the task force going on, rounding y'all asses up. But it's gonna get turned up even more on you. Because ultimately, for the most part of y'all are left out. They gotta find a way to get all y'all included, man. You know, they rubbing their greasy palms, man. Ready to unleash martial law. And that's gonna be the one net to get everybody. You know, and that's the plan. To get everybody under control. Because guess what? Your ass is going into a digital age, man. A new digital revolution that's coming with AI. You know, governing your whole life, man. Telling you what to eat, what to buy. You know, pretty much they do it now, but they do it through subliminals. But this time, it's gonna be AI is gonna tell you when to eat, when to sleep, what to spend your tokens on, man, your digital currency. So all your freedoms are about to go away, man. All your freedoms are about to just disappear. And Trump is steadily signing those executive AI orders, man. Just signing them away. You know? He's pushing them through. Because ultimately it's about control. It ain't to make your job easier, to make life easier for you. For they try to use productivity. It's more efficient. Yeah, to put your ass in digital slavery, man. That's what is more efficient at. Like Sarah Connor and Skynet, man. That's what they aiming for. You ain't gonna be able to scratch your ass without a drone catching you on the camera, man. Telling you can scratch too many times. You need to report to the medical office, man, to the medical department, and get you some shots, get you some vaccines. So everything's about to be transformed here, man. So enjoy your little bit of freedom that you got left, because Elon and all the rest of the gang, Jeff Bezos, his name's Sam Altman, and that Ellison guy, I forget his first name. They can't wait to get your ass in slavery, man. They can't wait to microchip you, bag and tag you. You're gonna be a walking barcode. You're gonna be tracked, surveilled at all times, man. They're gonna deliver your crickets with a drone. You're gonna have a nice bag of barbecue grasshoppers, man. With sea salt, you know, or your mealworms, man. Wherever they plan on feeding you people, that's what you're gonna get. They plan on giving you bugs, crickets, worms, and Soylent Green, man. What they call it? I think that's the name, huh? While the elite, they're gonna be sitting back, still eating steaks, burgers, and everything else, man. But you everyday citizens, I'm gonna be like droids. You're gonna be implanted with microchips and anything else they can put in your ass or stick on your ass, man. And you walking head first into it. You walking head first into it, man. You just fucking sleepwalking right into it. And they love it. All you worrying about is getting some Christmas gifts. And all they worrying about is putting your ass in slavery, man. This when the elite and the politicians they get real busy around this time. Because they know you distracted. You worrying about getting them gifts, that Christmas dinner, you in the holiday spirit, so to speak. This when the real meat and potatoes of legislation get passed right now, man. Without without much pushback. So we're gonna get into these prophecies, man, because 2026 and beyond is gonna be a hell of a ride. You know, they working towards that 2030 agenda. And believe me, they gonna get it. You know, they gonna form this new world order right on the backs of you people, man. And by the time you wake up, it's gonna be too late. You're gonna realize your ass is in slavery, man, all over again. You know, that's So I already know the people on this side they not much into anything. They don't know what's going on. You know, motherfuckers rarely watch the local news, man. Like, oh, it's so depressing. You know, you know, and, but the whole time they'll throw something that your ass need to know in there every now and then. But you worrying about a fucking second line. But it's okay. Stay asleep, man. Stay asleep. So we can get the hell out of here. The longer y'all asleep, the faster elite move and the quicker for me to get out of here. So stay asleep. I'm loving it. This Joel 2-1. Blow ye the trumpet in Zion. Zion, another word or another name for Jerusalem. See, that's what a nigga want to do right there. You know, that's all a nigga want to do right there. Just ride up at the street playing loud music, seeking attention, man. So blow ye the trumpet in Zion, which is another name for Jerusalem, and sound an alarm for my holy mountain. So that's what I'm doing. I'm sounding the alarm, letting you know the world is on the cusp of World War III. And you so-called Negro, Latinos, and Native Americans are going to get y'all asses drafted and put in this war. You know, you're going to be desert ornament soon because this World War III is going to switch over to the Middle East, the Levant. And you're going to be desert fixtures, man. When your ass get drafted, you ain't coming back. It's not going to be like how they did in NAM, how they came back and told a story. You're not coming back, you know? Nobody's going to, send a flag to your mama house talking about, oh, such and such died. And, he was a heroic soldier or she was a heroic soldier. There's going to be none of that. It's going to be, you're going to get nothing. You're probably just going to get a letter, man. Saying, hey, they died in combat. Can't find the remains. You know, that's about the only thing you're gonna give it this war before it goes nuclear. You know, when it goes nuclear, you won't be getting shit in the mail, and it's going thermonuclear at that. This ain't your granddaddy nukes this time, man. This is some cutting edge technology, thermonuclear. We talking about millions of degrees Fahrenheit, man. I forget the number, but it was some fucking astronomical number, man. In the hundreds of millions, I think, like 200 million degrees Fahrenheit. It was like some, I mean, outlandish number. So when those nukes get shut off, hey man, you're gonna be barbecue, man. You're gonna be nuclear ash, radioactive ash. So Putin's dick is getting hard just thinking about shooting them off, man. To let all the inhabitants of the land tremble for the day of Yahweh cometh, or is nigh at hand. Yeah, the day of Yahweh by Shimei say nigh at hand. And we got Europe, the EU, turned against America. We got Trump calling the EU weak. So it's a bunch of fighting going on, man. Infighting. You know, political fighting going on. These people getting in a war footing, and you distracted about. You hope you get a turkey on sale next week. You stressing out if you're gonna have enough food to feed everybody for Christmas dinner. But these people, the NATO generals, are prepping for war. You know, everybody's getting in a war footing, but the people here in America, on the shores of the good old U.S. of A., are just walking around clueless, man. You know? Your world's about to get turned upside down, man, inside out. Economy's gonna crash. Terrorist attacks about to happen. Martial law soon be declared. Hey, it says, for it is nigh at hand. And all those are the sons of his son being nigh at hand. Verse 2, a day of darkness and a day of gloominess, a day of clouds and of thick darkness. That's from the thermonuclear ICBMs, man. It's gonna be a thick smoke coming from this place. They're gonna see this place smoking, on fire, man, all over the world. know, because hey, Europe is gonna shoot their nuclear missiles on this place too, man. The EU, Russia, China, North Korea, Iran, everybody is turning against America right now. And they're gonna use those nukes to finally settle the beef, so to speak. You know, and Putin is itching to push the buttons, man. The cameras, you know. Every time you see a photo of Putin, he's sitting right by the nuke codes, man. The nuke launchers. You know, they steady putting it in your mind that you getting ready to push the button, man. You know, these Russians ain't your everyday so-called white people. You know, a lot of them are jaded. You know, these Russians are on a whole different level. Okay. Every day. Putin. They got that old USSR spirit in him, man. He's from the old school, and they still hate America to this day. They remember all the coups and color revolutions, the sanctions. They got all that. They still got a bad taste in their mouth. You know, so when they already push that button, they gonna smile from one ear to the other. Because little do you know, even though they talk about Putin, he's a bad guy. You know, he's evil. This, that, and the third. But he actually got bunkers for his people, man. When this nuclear war actually starts, he has underground bunkers for his people to get in. Will all of them get in there? No. But he has, this been like 10, 15 years ago or something like that since I last read it. They actually have bunkers for their citizens when nuclear war starts. But now here in America, only the politicians get to go. And the upper echelon of the military, man, they get to go in these bunkers. But everyday Americans, we're not invited. Here it is. They take all the tax money and build all these underground facilities, but you can't get to go in there. What kind of shit is that? They just gonna leave you out to burn, man. But yet they get on TV talking about how bad Putin is. So it's all bullshit. Here it is. Your politician is looting, robbing, stealing, but they want to get on TV and talk about how Maduro is a damn drug dealer. Man. So he running dope. So enjoy the hypocrites for a moment, man. When we all know America the DEA, FBI is all involved with the dope, man. You can't get no dope into America unless it goes through them groups, man. CIA, FBI, DEA. You know, they put that on TV, make you believe it. Oh, it's Pedro digging a tunnel. Man, they got fucking satellites could see a damn net on your damn nose, man. You know, here this country got all kind of technology. They got all kind of informants. They know what's coming in and out of the country. Believe it. But they'll put, you know, Pedro and Juan and Maduro on TV saying, "Oh, they getting drugs into the country," and the whole time they was flying the shit in on military planes, man. They busted them down in Florida. They had a whole C-130 full of dope, an Air Force plane. You know, this came out years ago. Yeah, who was it? Frank Lucas. He was clicked in with the government, man, running the drugs. But yet, it's Pedro problem. You know, Pedro Martinez and them is the damn problem. So that's why we've been telling you tries for the longest, man. This man does not give a damn about you. Yet, the minute y'all cross that border, y'all go get right up under him and kiss his ass. And then you shit on your brothers, the so-called Negroes, you know? You shit on us trying to get up under him, man. And now look at him. He turned on you like a damn a rabid dog, man. A dog with rabies. And it's good for you, man. Good for you. Like John 8 and 44 said, "You are your father the devil, man." So you just like him. So whatever he do to your asses, we all for it. If he wanna tie your asses up and throw your ass in the middle of the ocean, man, we all for it. You know, you want to turn back to your how about Shimmy Shah? We don't know you. We don't know you. It says a great people. Let's read that over. Joel 2 and 2. A day of darkness and of gloominess, a day of clouds and of thick darkness. That's from after the nukes being shot off and this place is set on fire. It says, as the morning spread upon the mountains, a great people and a strong. And that's talking about the missiles. Because there's going to be a whole lot of missiles that get shot off. And it says, there have never, there have not, there have not been ever the like, neither shall there be any more after it. So yeah, once these nukes are shot off, there'll be no more nukes to be used, man. It's never gonna happen again ever on Earth. You know, there's gonna be no more need of a nuclear missile after World War III. Because the job was being completed by the end, man. You know? You know, once we get the kingdom, We're not gonna need nukes to govern and rule the earth or and rule the people. You know, we don't need those type of weapons. You know, compared to the type of powers we gonna have. It says even to the years of many generations. So yeah, there's no use for the nukes after that. After World War III goes hot. Matter of fact, we're gonna gather up all the weapons, get rid of the earth is gonna actually experience peace again, like when Solomon ruled, man. This time it's gonna be peace forever and ever, man. No more wars. You know, once Yahweh shall come back and take the throne as the rightful ruler of the earth, man. You know, we're gonna have little flare ups because nobody wants to go into slavery, you know. So they're gonna buck up a little bit, and we're gonna squash that shit, man. It's gonna be it's gonna be light work. You know, we won't have the need to start a draft. You know? And, yeah, the nations are gonna buck up a little bit in the beginning, but once you're done getting your ass kicked and you finally submit and realize this is what it's gonna be, then things will get a whole lot better for you, man. You know, your captivity will be a bit better once you realize ain't shit you can do about it. But serve your time. You know, so you still gonna have people trying to, you know, make weapons, trying to make swords, come against the Israelites. You can try all you want, but at this time, we won't be able to die this time. You know, we're gonna be true immortals on the earth, man. We're going back to that God-like status. You know, like the scripture said, you shall ye are gods, or you shall die like men. You know, because hey, sin is the wages of death. But this time we won't be able to sin. So therefore we won't die. And your ass is in trouble, man. And your ass is in trouble. So we will never experience death again, man. The two nations will. Everybody outside this chart here, you're still gonna get old and die and wither away. But Israel is gonna be young and living forever, man. Like Jay-Z, what's his name? Jay-Z said, forever young, man. He was on to something. It's like he almost read the book. Now we're gonna have that youthful look. You know, when you like 19, 20 years old, you got that youthful look, glow. You know, that's how we're gonna look. You know, but you could be 800 years old, 1,000 years old, but you still gonna look like you 18, 19 years old. I'm looking forward to this. What what the fuck do I care about a 401k, man? Or looking forward to retirement. How does that interest me? I'm looking forward to living forever. You know what I'm saying? Living forever, ruling forever. You know, like they say, it's like the finer things in life. Verse 3, a fire before them, devoureth before them, and behind them a flame burneth. The land is as the Garden of Eden before them. So yeah, before the nukes hit, the earth is nice and green. You know, the trees are everywhere. You got plants here and there. You know, it looks nice. But let's go on. It says, and behind them a desolate wilderness. Yeah, so after the nukes detonate, it's a desolate wilderness. You know, it's gonna be the biggest desert you've ever seen. You know, this is gonna be the biggest desert on the planet after World War III, man. Yeah, they ride by the. I see your ass. You know, I caught you the first time riding by. You know, jump out on this. You know, I don't give a fuck you border patrol or motherfucking sea patrol, man. Fuck out of here. I'm busy. I'm doing some real work. It says, and nothing shall escape them. Yeah, you won't be able to escape these thermonuclear ICD in this, man. I don't give a fuck about no damn border patrol rolling through, man. Give a fuck how dark them windows, though, man. I see your bitch ass. Verse 4. The appearance of them is as the appearance of horses, and as horsemen, so shall they run. So yeah, they're the appearance of horses, man. And as horsemen, they shall run, because this is the only way they could describe the missiles. The way they was moving so fast, so swiftly through the air. You know, Joel's using the best terminology that he had in that time, man. And he only could describe them as horses moving that swiftly. And I don't give a fuck who in that truck, man. Truth be told, I'm all out. I make myself very accessible, man. Or like Reverend X say, I make myself very available, man. I make my ass very available. Yeah, that's what he said. You know, I'm all out. No, I ain't ducking nobody, man. I ain't ducking nobody. I'm all out. That's right. What you got?
You're recording. Sorry. I thought you were taking a picture. I don't
Uh,
really.
all right, you too. You Hispanic?
Yeah.
Latina?
I work over on Freshman. I'm on my way.
Oh yeah.
I thought you were just taking a picture of have a good night.
All right, you too. Yeah. So that's a sister of ours, man. She gonna inherit the kingdom too, man. Soon we ain't gonna have to work no more, man. You know, she was nice about it. That was a nigga woman. It'd be a whole different story, man. She'd be like, "You broke. You need to get money." I never seen the brokest people always talking about you need to get money. How much money? How the fuck you know how much money I got? That's what I want to know. Anyway, let's go on with the regular programming, man. I don't even talk about the nigga woman right now. Keep my pressure up. So let's go on. Verse 5. Like the noise of chariots on the top of mountains shall they leap. Yeah, so they're going to leap, meaning they're going to go into the atmosphere, man. So those nukes, once they get a certain altitude, you got the first stage, second stage, and then it separates, and once it goes into the atmosphere, man, what they call it, the MER, MBR, or something like that. But it's a re-entry vehicle, man. The warhead. Once that goes into the atmosphere, or what they call it, the ionosphere, some one of fucking spheres. All I know is gonna come down and re-enter and turn you to a pile of ashes, man. You know, to keep it simple, to keep it very simple. And it only takes about an hour to get from Russia to here with that nuke, man. Hell, they say even like 45 minutes, depending on the nuke. But according to the scripture, it's gonna take 1 hour to get rid of this place, man. America 250 years old, 249 years old. So whether it's 251, 252, 253, whatever the case may be, it's only gonna take 1 hour to bring it down. So like the noise of a flame of fire that devoureth the stubble, as the strong people sit in battle already. Verse 6, before their face the people shall be much pain. All faces shall gather black. Yeah, your shit's gonna burn up, man. You're gonna be like a match head, man. When you strike a match and it burns up and it turns black, that's how the people are gonna be. You're gonna be black as a match, a struck match after the nuke hits. It talks about how your eyes are gonna pretty much disintegrate in your sockets and your tongue is gonna fucking be damn, let me think of that scripture, man. See if I can find it. Here we go. Here we go. Zechariah 14 and 12. And this shall be the plague wherewith Yahweh will smite all the people that have fought against Jerusalem. So yeah, the plague is talking about the thermonuclear missiles, man. Being the ultimate plague, the last plague. It says, their flesh shall consume away while they stand upon their feet. So your flesh is gonna consume away while you standing on your feet. And their eyes shall consume away in their holes. So your shit just gonna wither away and dry up, man. It says, and their tongue shall consume away in their mouth from this extreme heat from the thermonuclear missiles, man. You know, a lot of people are going to experience this, man. So everyone that fought against Jerusalem, man. You know, and we're talking about the people. We're not talking about the place right now. You know? And so whoever fought against us, so-called Negro, Latino, and Native Americans, we're going to partake in this thermonuclear bath, you know, this thermonuclear shower that's coming. You know, all the people talk shit when I was out here. You know, I'm trying to bring the word out. They come out disturbing me. Your asses are going to partake in this thermonuclear missiles, man, in this heat. And ain't nothing can be done to stop it, man. I don't give a fuck how many times you try to call NOPD. You try to come up here and bother me. Can't stop it. You know, it's already set in stone. Believe me, when the Lord said he gonna do something, he gonna fucking do it, man. You know, you can take that to the bank. Verse 7, they shall run like mighty men. They shall climb the wall. They shall climb the wall like men of war, and they shall march everyone on his ways. They shall not break their ranks. You know, because these missiles have guided systems in them, man. They're not gonna be clinging into each other. They all gonna get shot off, man. And every single one of them gonna detonate. Not gonna be any duds, any malfunctioning missiles. Every single one that gets shot out the silos or whatever, the missile launchers, the submarines, whatever the case may be, every single one is gonna detonate. You know? Every single one. And they're not gonna bump into each other. You know how you see on the movies where, you know, they get shot off and then they just slam into each other and detonate. That's not gonna happen. It's gonna be like the arrows like on 300. You know, once they shot those arrows into the sky and it blacked the sun out. Same way these nukes gonna do, man. They're gonna black or block the sun out. And at that moment, you don't know you fucked. It says, neither shall one thrust another. Yeah, won't bump into each other. They shall walk everyone in his path. And when they fall upon the sword, they shall not be wounded. So yeah, every time it says, let's read in NLT, it says they never jostle each other. Each moves exactly the right position. They break through defenses without missing a step. Yeah, they're gonna go right through the missile defense system. You know, it's gonna fail in that day. The one here in America and the one in Israel, man. The Iron Dome is gonna be useless. The Iron Dome gonna be a paper dome in that day. Verse 9, they shall run to and fro in the city. They shall run up the wall. They shall climb upon the houses. They shall enter in at the windows like a thief. Yeah, these missiles going to enter in like a thief, man. And then you're going to see that the glittering, where the scripture speak about a glittering sword, it's actually talking about a missile, man. You know, have you ever seen a missile being tested during the daylight? Once you start hitting the atmosphere, the sun start hitting the missile, and that's how pretty much like when something shines, like you shine light on metal and it's going through the clouds and it starts glittering. That's what it's talking about, that glittering sword. So this nuke is gonna be like a glittering sword going through the air. I was watching some missile porn the other day, man. They was testing some nukes. They was shooting them out of the submarine. They was shooting them out the silos. And my eyes was lighting up, man. Oh, damn. It's been a while since I've seen some missile porn. You know? I enjoy seeing missiles being tested, man. I love seeing when Russia shoot off a tester, a new nuke, a new weapon. I play it over and over and over and over, man. It's like me getting like a crackhead getting a high, man. I could just feel my endorphins. You know, I get off on it when I'm looking at these missile launches. Just the noise from them. I take it all in, the noise, looking at how the propulsion system works. You know, hey man, I'm amazed. Verse 10, the earth shall quake before them, the heaven shall tremble. Yeah, because when you got that many nukes hitting this one place known as Babylon, and hitting the earth, it's gonna hit various places in the earth, but the bulk is gonna be right here, and the whole earth is gonna quake. It speaks about how the earth is gonna reel to and fro like a drunkard. You ever seen somebody drink so much they walk staggering around like they want to just fall? That's how the earth is gonna be. And the heaven shall tremble. You know, just from rain with thunder. Just imagine with all them nukes being shot off, Like the sound of the thunder just going off through the earth, man. It's a noise like that can't be duplicated. You know, it's not gonna be able to be duplicated. And whoever left on the earth, you know, that's your ass, man. You know, especially here you in America, you're not gonna make it in America. If I was you, I'd move out the country. You might stand a chance somewhere else, but you're not gonna make it here. You know, if I was you, I'll pack up and go to South America somewhere, man. But being here in America, you done for. Scripture say how nobody's gonna escape these nukes. You're not gonna escape. You ain't better jump in your your Porsche or your Toyota Corolla and think you're gonna outrun a thermonuclear missile, man. A hypersonic missile. It ain't happening. You know how they tell you like in them old nuclear videos, hide under the table, hide in a pantry, you know, hide under the bed. Yeah, these ain't your granddaddy nukes this time, man. Or your great granddaddy. We talking about some cutting edge technology, man. These 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 nukes have been perfected, and they burning up everything in sight, man. You know, the Bible talks about the scriptures talk about you won't be able to recognize anywhere. You won't know where Mississippi starts, where Mississippi ends. All the borders are gonna be erased. You know, you ain't gonna be able to recognize New Orleans on a map after this. There's gonna be one fucking crater, man, and ultimately a desert. You know, says the sun and the moon shall be dark from the smoke, because it's gonna be, how the towers of 9/11 was smoking for like months, some shit like that. But just imagine that many nukes being shot off over here. How long this place is gonna smoke, man. I don't know the exact time frame, but it's gonna be smoking a while. Since the sun and the moon shall be dark, and the stars shall withdraw their shining. Because there's gonna be nuclear ash, nuclear fallout, and a nuclear winter, man. So the scriptures speak about how the elect is going to be caught up in the chariots for a moment. The Bible don't go into how long that moment is. Verse 11, and Yahweh shall utter his voice before his army, and his army are the nukes. For his camp is very great. Yeah, the Israelites is his camp. For he is strong that executeth his word. Yeah, he's going to command those nukes, man, to come out of those silos, man. Man, you already seen the videos where the so-called UFOs are, turn the nukes on, turn them off. You know, so it's all the doing of the Lord, man. So, but He's gonna have it on the mind, and He's gonna utter His voice, man. Have these motherfuckers come out them silos, and wherever they are, wherever they at, they coming out. For the day of Yahweh is great and very terrible, and who can abide it? Nobody. They talk about Jesus, sweet Jesus coming back. He's so nice. He's so sweet and innocent. He's a good old guy. But the Bible saying something different. It says the day of the Lord is terrible, man. Dark and gloominess. So who is this imposter they keep talking about? Who is this nice guy they keep mentioning every time you talk to a Christian? You know? They just smiling, drooling, foaming at the mouth, talking about Jesus, Jesus death. They got nothing but good things to say. But the Bible's saying otherwise, man. The Bible is saying when the Lord returns, shit hit the fan. you know? He ain't coming to fucking play patty cake, man. He ain't coming to play hopscotch, jump rope, play fantasy football. He ain't coming to do none of that. COD. He don't like playing COD, man. He's saying he's coming back to kill some shit. Not be your best bud, you know? So hey man, we fastly approaching this day. And the Russian Putin, his right hand man, his advisor, pretty much his brain, is saying, hey man, he's ready for nuclear war. They said they're gonna be mortars and they don't mind dying. So the Lord is stirring the brains up, the minds of these people to send their asses to war. And the elect gonna make it out of this. Lord willing, I'm of that number. Hey, I'm gonna be all right. I'm gonna be A-okay, man. Gotta keep doing the work. Keep doing the work. Keeping the faith, bro. And everything else is, taken care of, man. So whether it's 20 degrees out here, 100 degrees, man, I'll be out here. You know what I'm saying? Damn. See, just that quick, you could be in the spirit world, man. Just that quick. But hey, I'm gonna get out of here, man. Before I get out of here, I'm gonna give all praise and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem Kakadash. Salawam.